Roja Elysium, one of the best men's summertime niche fragrances, but now they dropped the Eau Intense, and if you still have this one on your list, you're probably wondering, which one do I go with? My name is Neeb, welcome back to Aromatics. So, Roja Parfums has been releasing some heat. Elysium has been one of the staple fragrances of Roja. It's the one that I would recommend to anybody in the beginner realm of getting into niche fragrances, or even if you're looking for another perfume that smells or fragrance that smells masculine, smells nice, attention-grabbing, for the summertime. A freshie that's not only a no-brainer, but really stands out from the crowd. Elysium, awesome. But this year, in 2023, they released Elysium Eau Intense. There are quite a few differences, not only in the bottle, but also in the scent profile. So yes, this was released in 2023. The bottles have a little bit of a different finish. Now the Eau Intense has a frosted finish, along with that cap, that instead of a chrome looks like a ceramic matte finish. And honestly, it's a pretty heavy cap. Still a metal cap, but it's been brushed by what seems to be like this steel gunmetal finish. Very nice. Both of these look excellent. And this one honestly complements the way that this looks very nicely. So you can either put this one behind or in front. You won't have a problem with it. I actually have it sitting on my shelf and they both look really freaking nice. So Elysium Eau Intense. To understand some of the differences, you have to understand Elysium itself. This is a summertime fragrance that's pretty aromatic. It's got a beautiful sparkling opening. It smells pretty much to me like a Sprite remix. So if you remember those flavor-infused Sprites that have like a fruity top, it's a little bit sugary, smells carbonated. That's exactly what I get with this one. Near in the middle of this fragrance, you start getting more woods and herbs like that thyme, a little bit of black currant, and some vetiver. So it does start to get a bit more woodsy around hour 3. And then at around hour 5, you're now in the dry down. What you get mostly of is like this ambergris, leather, vanilla. You still get some of the aromatics, but that fizzy top and citruses is kind of toned down, well, actually significantly. And a lot of people mistakenly think that this is gone, but rather it's changed significantly in scent profile that they can't detect what they were initially detecting to begin with. So the dry down of this fragrance goes to a leather, vetiver, and ambergris and vanilla. Very sexy, very masculine, just an all-around awesome niche summertime fragrance. And truly, this is more than just a summertime fragrance. It can serve as a transitional fragrance even during the springtime. Well, it leaves you with a gap. So if you're wearing that during the spring and summer, now during the fall and winter, you're like, okay, I really enjoy this DNA. Sometimes I'll spray it on even myself during the wintertime, but it just won't hold on that long. It's not the fragrance's fault, it's the temperature, it's the way that some of these oils dissipate during different temperatures. Roja released a fix for that, and it's the Eau Intense. While they didn't change the original DNA too much, they amplified a lot of factors. A lot of nuances in here have been amplified to really significantly change the experience of this DNA. So DNA itself is relatively the same, but there are a lot of facets, a lot of notes that have been increased significant enough to just change the entire vibe. Biggest change to this fragrance is the addition of rhubarb. That is the most significant change in this entire fragrance DNA. So the addition of the rhubarb in this one is really what's going to be the most standout factor of this fragrance. And what does the rhubarb do? It increases the vegetal feel of this fragrance. It really takes this, adds a lot more depth because of the other facets. There's now orange blossom, the juniper berry is now in the base, and then there's a lot more emphasis on something like galbanum and including black pepper in the base. So much denser, thicker of a fragrance. It's much more appropriate for the fall and the winter time. And that rhubarb really does help you draw that illustration mentally, because in the fall time, at least for me, I associate veggie picking, I associate some of these succulents or something that you would get from the grocery store, and that's exactly what this really does. It puts me in that fall and winter vibe. So the rhubarb, although adds like this vegetal state to the fragrance itself, I think it's blended beautifully with some of the other nuances in the fragrance. There's just enough florals. Some of the orange blossom really does take a little bit off of that vegetal vibe, and then this fragrance altogether is a lot thicker. All of those notes that were found in the Elysium, the original, seems like it's dosed up just a little bit more. For me personally, I enjoy this one more than I enjoy Elysium. But then again, you have to understand my taste for fragrances is that of thicker, denser, sweeter, much more bold and statement makers. And that's exactly what this one is in comparison to Elysium. This is easier in my opinion. Yes, it is head turning. There's got still some opulent factors to this. It's very sexy. While still being mass appealing, it's not too mass appealing. It'll definitely help you stand out. This one is on the other side of the spectrum. While still staying in the same line, it just veers off the mass appealing territory just a little bit more. But for me, that makes this one more enjoyable. So yes, I do enjoy this one more than I enjoy Elysium. Am I going to wear this one more? Probably, because I live in Michigan and it's freezing here. But in the summertime, I definitely will reach for Elysium. I wouldn't recommend wearing this during the high heat or anything like that because it will become cloying, which leads me to the next positive point of this fragrance is the performance. This one, projection for 2 hours, easily. That rhubarb really helps with the entire fragrance. Sure, it adds a little bit more of a vegetal take to it, but it's not off-putting whatsoever. It's very nicely balanced. You still get the same DNA and the backbone of this fragrance. You still, as it dries down, you're gonna get the ambergris, the vanilla, the leather, the juniper, the vetiver, everything that you know Elysium to be, but with more of a depth, much bolder, and just much more in your face. And that's everything that I love about a fragrance. Roja really stepped it up with this DNA, and they packed a punch into this bottle. And that's as simple as it is. In my opinion, this is Elysium with a punch. Mass appealing factor for this one is a 10. Mass appealing factor for this one might be an 8, but scent profile, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. And so is this one. I highly suggest you check out either one of these fragrances. If you don't own both of these, I think it would be safer for you to start with Elysium. And if you enjoy or appreciate this DNA and you get to a point where you want just a little bit more, Oh Intense will satisfy that itch. 8 to 10 hours on clothing, and on skin I got about 7 to 8 hours. Really not bad. Projection for the first 2 hours, easily 3 to 4 feet. Scent trails where this one absolutely shines. I think it has something to do with the juniper and some of those peppers. Even down in the dry down, this was projecting. So projection, although was the strongest during the first 2 hours, I got it easily through the 4 hours. So within the first 2 hours, it's about 3 feet, 3 to 4 feet. And after that, it reels into about 1 to 2 feet. Let me know down in the comments if you've sampled or own Oh Intense, and which one do you enjoy most? Or do you just enjoy both of them equally? Because I genuinely love both of these. While you're down there, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. And until the next one, peace.